Hello everybody, welcome back to I Dream of Indie, where today we are reviewing Missile Command Rechaged from developer Vision Studios and published by the legendary ATARI. It is an action arcade shooter in the same style of the original, but with some nice modern amenities that make it really enjoyable. The game is priced at a very reasonable $2.99, and it is also available on the Nintendo Switch and was previously released on iOS and Android. When the original Missile Command launched into arcades, the year was 1980. That was 40 years ago, and I was not yet born. Players were also controlling the game with a trackball. It was the Atari 2600 version of the game that would go on to sell over 2.5 million copies, captivating the hearts and minds of players around the world with a very simple premise. The whole idea is that you are under attack by missiles, and you have 6 bases that you need to launch counter missiles from in order to destroy them. And that spirit lives on in Missile Command Rechaged, which is an excellent update to an arcade classic. You can play Missile Command Rechaged in a variety of different ways, and that includes being very timid like I was towards the beginning and meticulously planning each shot out, or by being more aggressive and trying to litter the screen with missiles in hopes of protecting your bases. Both of my preferred methods of play had their pros and cons. For example, being more timid and laid back did lead to the side of the screen that I wasn't so focused on getting bombarded with missiles, and being more aggressive was effective at first, but eventually I got a little sloppy. I used the mouse for the most part in this game, which I found more effective than the controller, and that would often result in missiles being able to sneak past me. So you can't just spam away on the mouse in this game, or the controller if you're playing that way. Personally, I prefer the mouse, like I mentioned, because it seemed more accurate and the controller sensitivity was a little too much for me. But either way, whichever strategy you end up devising for this game, if you're anything like me, you're probably going to find that you're not very good at it when you start out, but thankfully you earn upgrades through the scores that you achieve. There are 4 upgrades that you can pump your score into, and that includes Power, which allows for your missiles to give off a larger blast radius, Reload, which allows you to stock inventory quicker, and then you have Speed as well, which allows for the missiles to shoot out at a quicker rate, and Rebuild, which of course pertains to your bases that have been destroyed and the rate at which they will be rebuilt. For me, I took a more balanced approach, but if you're looking to pump more into one specific ability that you prefer, then you have the option to do that. There is a certain timing and feel to this game that you will have to get used to. You don't necessarily always want to go for a direct shot on an enemy missile. You might want to put it a little bit in front of that missile so that the blast radius takes care of it, and can also damage the missiles in that area. The fun really starts when power-ups begin to appear on screen. These can range from slowing down time to speeding up the rate at which your missiles are unleashed, or my personal favorite, the bomb, which destroys every single thing on the screen and can really help to rack up your score quickly. I'll be honest with you, it's been a while since I wanted to click the restart button this bad in a game. It definitely reminded me of the addiction I had all those years ago with Geometry Wars, and with each upgrade really making a difference, it's going to be easy for you to click back in quickly to see how much better you can perform based on your new upgrades. In terms of graphics, Missile Command Rechaged doesn't really take a lot of risks or anything, but it doesn't have to. It's a nice simplistic look with basic shapes and good explosions that do fill the screen and keep you invested. I did also enjoy all of the sound effects. It's fun to hear the explosions, and it's definitely a bit of a throwback to the original release, but I will say it's a little disappointing that there's only the one musical track in this game. Even though it is hyper addicting, I think a nice little variety of different tracks could have mixed things up a bit. But my complaints with Missile Command Rechaged are few and far between. It's a very addicting, fun, fast-paced arcade-style shooter that you're going to really sink some time into once it gets its hooks in. One other little issue that did come up while I was playing is the fact that the leaderboards weren't working for me for whatever reason, and that's definitely a little disappointing. I'd like to see how I stacked up against other players. But I left for this review with a score of 5100, so if you do end up picking up this title, be sure to let me know how badly you've destroyed me in the comments below. Atari has successfully updated an arcade classic, creating a game that fans of both the arcade original and newcomers that just love chasing high scores can all appreciate. We hope that you enjoyed our review of Missile Command Rechaged. If you did, please do consider hitting the subscribe button below, as it really helps us in our fight to bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming. If you want to support us in a variety of other ways, head down to the description box below and check out some of the links. Thank you so much for your support of I Dream of Indie.